Hello, welcome to StereoPixel. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to create a glass material in Blender. So you can see my viewport where I got my final output over here, and I have distributed my viewport according to my convenience, though it doesn't have any connection with the output or anything else of my workflow. It's absolutely up to you, and you can create your own workplace. So this is my image view where I got the final render, and this is my viewport, and I have put my property panel over here, and this is the node editor which I'm going to use. So okay, so you can see I have selected my object which has been created through a curve and with the help of a screw modifier, and I have created one more uh, diamond also. That is coming from the mesh options like yeah, extras, diamonds, brilliant diamond. Okay, this is a add-on which you can find in the blender default blender. It's extra mesh. Okay, so uh, before I start explaining about the simple uh, workflow, I'd like to tell you that I'm not included the caustics over here because in Blender the caustics are really difficult to come out with the default Blender render engines. So we're going to use we generally use the FRA for caustics generation. That I will show you in a different tutorial. So this is only for the uh, material purpose. So I'm just cleaning up this one, and okay, select this. Okay, before I clean it up, let me explain you why and what are the things that I'm going to create. I have used one mix shader, one fennel, and one glass BSDF. Blender is a super easy 3D program to create glass. Okay, we already have a glass BSDF material which you can use, but we are going to use this mix shader or the fresnel for a very different reason. Okay, so I'll just disconnect this one and create a shader, glass BSDF. Now if I use glass BSDF and I'm just turning it this one to the rendered. So right now my material don't have anything, the surface don't have anything, any input, so that's why it's showing black. I'm going to add the BSDF, and immediately you can see the output of the glass is coming out. So I can use 1.5 of index of refraction, or by default it's up to you. But you can see there is a fair amount of difference of this output and that output. I'm just trying to match up this one. Let's suppose leave it to 1.45, and yet something is there. It's not looking like exactly like a glass. It's looking like a glass, but the fine details of the glass are a little missing. Now why this is so, the reason is, okay, fine, I can tell the color is might not be the same, or I have used something else. The something else factor is actually coming to the from the fresnel. Now you can see that if you go zoom in, sorry, you can see the outline of this particular glass is actually missing thickness, whereas if you can see the final output which I have already preserved, it's having a very good amount of an output which creates the difference always. And this is the level of detail which we can achieve through the fresnel. For that thing we have to first add the fresnel, which you can get it from the input. Where is the fresnel? Yeah, that's fresnel. Now the problem is that where we should add the fresnel. For mixing these two up, we need a mix shader. So go to the shader and add a mix shader over here. And if you can drop on the nodes itself, it can add within. But I have only added only one shader. You can see this one. So immediately after connection, I can use the factor and connected with the mixed shaders factor. But here you can see the thickness of that particular shader has become way too high, which I need to control. So I have to reduce it in such a way that I am not missing the details. So you have to be very, very precise over here. You can see the value is a little tricky over here. If you can, you can type out the values exactly one, which is doesn't make any sense, because whether I'm using or not, this is 0.5. If I make it 1, this is something, sorry, that's a mixed shaders factor, so I can make it 0 and that will be the same. But if I put the factor of the fresnel, you can see it starts to control the fresnel factor through the mix shader. Now, why I use fresnel? Now, fresnel do the things, the outline, fresnel makes it opaque of a material, and the center part, which is directly looking at the camera, makes that transparent or effective to the sorry, not transparent, it's calculating the refraction or the reflection, whereas the outline of that particular object became opaque. Now that's uh, how fresnel works. So that's why we can use this one. You can see you can very easily 1.1, 1.05, which 1.05, yeah, that is the amount that we are looking for. Now you can still see that there is a slight amount of difference in the colors. That comes from my this one, this color of my glass, which is very, very intuitive to change. Now a lot of people generally use another shader for the color, like diffuse BSDF, and they want to put it within that, and they don't want to change this color, but they want to control from the diffuse BSDF, which can be also input through the mix shader, and you want to change the color, you can change the color. But the problem is that color always comes only on the outline of that particular object, not the entire material. Whereas if you choose this one, you can see the entire object is actually changing the color. So there is a difference between these two. If you input this one, this will also change the outline of your object, which is controlling the diffuseness. So it actually makes sense, because what I told before is that the outline is opaque, it's not transparent. That's what Fresnel is doing over here. So the outline, if I need to change the color of the outline also, I have to use a diffuse BSDF into it. But if I don't want, I want my outline to be darkened itself, and I still want that object's color to be, or the glass color to be changed, that can be easily done through this glass BSDF, which I generally recommend, until unless you are going to going for a very different kind of scenario where you want your outline to be also change its color, which I can do from here. You can see, so there is a very different kind of approach what you can achieve through this one. You can play with it. I mean, there is no restriction on that. But yeah, this is the main thing is all about that. We can create this kind of an output over here. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a render, hit F12, and immediately you can get the final output. Okay, so this is the output which we're looking at. Yeah, So this is all about the glass material in Blender, and I hope you have you enjoy this tutorial. If you like it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned. One more thing I would like to say that I have turned off the reflective and refractive caustics over here, just to remind you again. So okay, so that's it, and thank you very much.